Announcement of the first pick of the night.
With the first pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select.
All right, so the NFL Draft has become one of the most anticipated spectacles in American sports over the past several decades. In fact, it amassed 54.4 million viewers in 2023, which came out to around 6 million viewers per day. Of course, most of the viewers laid eyes on the draft on the first night, Thursday night that would be. And I asked myself, it's the draft. How has this become like such a spectacle, such an event that people crave to watch? And after doing some research, I'd come to the conclusion that it's because the NFL took this product, they took this inventory, and they've marketed it so well. They've secured a deal with ESPN and ABC for the TV rights to the draft, and it's just given it so much more exposure than it ever had in the past. And it also airs on the NFL Network, too. So that pushes the product out as well and gives people a platform by which they can consume the draft. And so people just naturally crave to watch it. And I'll delve into some of the ingredients as to why. Now, the NFL Draft, it wasn't always televised. In fact, it wasn't televised until 1980. It was just conducted in private before 1980. And you just kind of found out who was on your team. I mean, in the newspaper, watching the first game on TV, the radio, whatever it was in the late 70s. I wasn't there. I wasn't even a thought then. But it wasn't televised until 1980. And Pete Rozelle was the NFL commissioner at that time. One of my favorite commissioners, in my opinion, honestly. And originally, Rozelle was against the idea of televising the NFL draft because his thought process was, why would people want to watch this? You're just adding a team. It's like watching your gym dodgeball team get selected. Like nobody really cares. Just play the game. His assumption was that people were just there for the game. They wanted that Niners Cowboys NFC Championship. They wanted Giants Bills on a Sunday. That's why people watch the product. But at that time, he didn't anticipate that people would actually gravitate towards that sublet of the NFL. You could break the product of the NFL down into multiple products just outside of the game itself. And that's what the NFL has done so well these past couple of years. You've got the draft. You've got the schedule release. You've got the combine. It's like a pie, and it breaks itself down into these individual slices that people crave. It's not just the games. Pete Rozelle, at first, couldn't really wrap his arms around the idea, but after his colleagues persuaded him, he was convinced. And in 1980, the NFL Draft was televised for the first time in its history. And it was a slow build. Like it wasn't a hit out of the gates. But in 1984, ESPN hired Mel Kiper as their NFL Draft analyst. And that is where it all started to get interesting. Breaking the draft down from as early as February, right after the Super Bowl, getting people excited. And that's another element of the draft. It gets people excited. You have Mel Kiper at ESPN making mock drafts, stirring up controversy. He really pissed on a lot of people's Cheerios back in the day and in the late 80s. Coming out with his mock drafts, throwing out little teasers, little nuggets of information that may or may not have been true, but it got people talking. Leaking information from organizations. It would anger those organizations, but it got eyes on ESPN, and it got eyes on the draft. It got people excited for the draft to see if his mock drafts are going to be right. They would see his mock draft on SportsCenter, and they would think, well, how much does this guy know? Let's watch Thursday night. It got people engaged. And then, so Mel Kiper was the trailblazer for NFL draft analysts. And then many followed after him. And now you've got your Bucky Brooks, You've got all those guys out there that are making Daniel Jeremiah. You've got so many guys out there that are making mock drafts, and I'm releasing one this week. But he was a pioneer. He blazed the path for that. And those mock drafts and draft analysts, they get people excited for the draft. The nuggets of information, the mock drafts, it builds the anticipation, and every great product has anticipation. You anticipate the Super Bowl. Like, I'm excited for the draft this Thursday. I'm doing nothing else but watching the draft because I want to see if my mock draft or if other people's mock drafts are right. And the media itself builds hype for the draft, starting at the Senior Bowl, right down the road here in Mobile, Alabama. And then it's a progression of events, and then you've got the Combine. Now you've got free agency, and that can impact the way that the draft plays out. And now you've got Bleacher Report coming out with rumors every day. This one's linked to this team. This one's interested in this team. This team could take this guy, and it just gets people excited. It gets people talking. I'm talking to my friends about the draft every day. But most importantly, the NFL has mastered the arts of packaging the draft as a story that fans cannot resist. And I was in the airport yesterday, and I was just thinking about similarities between the draft and The Bachelor. I'm a Bachelor guy. Don't hate. I love me some Bachelor. I watched every episode this year. I was a Daisy guy, just so you know. And people get excited about The Bachelor. People crave it. They come back every week. Why? Because they want to see who gets picked. And then you go talk by the water cooler or in class next day. Oh, I thought this one should have gotten the rose. Oh, I'm happy she got sent home. Why did she get sent home? And you become fans of these girls, these guys, regardless of if it's The Bachelor or The Bachelorettes. And people get excited about these players. You also have people like me going to Alabama. I want to see where Dallas Turner goes. I want to see where Terrion Arnold goes. I work with a lot of these guys with my internship last summer. I want to see where they go. I'm excited. Alabama fans, Clemson fans, Georgia fans, they want to see where their guys go. You build that connection. You want to see who gets picked. And that suspense builds up an excitement. And people just can't resist it. ESPN and NFL Network have also done a great job at projecting the stories of these players. Every one of these guys has a unique story. Whether it's Marvin Harrison Jr., whose father was an absolute star in the NFL when I was growing up. Whether it's Caleb Williams, Jared Verse, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Everybody's got a story. And ESPN and the NFL Network know how to present this in the best way possible. And it gets people excited. You get to know somebody's backstory. You want to see what the next step of that story is. There's no other events like the NFL Draft where you can watch somebody's dream come into fruition before your very eyes. It's a feel-good story. Especially the first night. Watching somebody get taken in the first draft and those emotions. You watch people experience that moment with their families, back in their homes. That gets broadcasted. And it's just amazing. You gotta watch it every year. Like just watching somebody who had worked tirelessly and committed themselves to the grind, their daily routines. I mean, 6:30 a.m. workouts every single day for 3 years. And then dating back to high school, middle school, all those workouts, all those games. Just to get to this moment. And like I said, everybody's story is unique. So some of these guys are coming from less than fortunate backgrounds, living in single-room apartments, coming from a single-parent household, and then, being able to show their mother or their father or their parents, their first $1 million. It's amazing. It's inspiring. And I think that's what people celebrate most about the draft, and that's why the draft is something that everybody loves. It's been such a success, and I'm happy that we can view it every year. And it's just going to continue to be a hit for the NFL if they continue to package it the way they do each and every single year. And I can't wait for it this Thursday. Have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, Please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to the era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.